South Korea's chief negotiator for defense cost-sharing talks with the U.S. has left for Washington today, and he says he will make a deal that's acceptable for both sides. But with the two sides poles apart on the figure, eyes are on whether the two sides would be able to meet the year-end deadline. Our Kim Min-ji has the story.
South Korea and the U.S. are gearing up for a fresh round of negotiations on sharing the cost of stationing American troops on the Korean Peninsula. The talks will take place for 2 days starting Tuesday in Washington. Departing for the U.S. on Monday, South Korea's top negotiator said he will do his best to ensure Seoul shoulders a burden that is acceptable to the South Korean people.
We plan to do our best to take on a burden that's acceptable to both sides. The U.S. walked out the last time we held talks, but we will make sure the negotiations strengthen our alliance and boost our defense capabilities.
These negotiations come 2 weeks after the previous sessions were cut short after the U.S. side up and left. Seoul said Washington was trying to drastically raise South Korea's share by creating new articles under their cost-sharing deal or special measures agreement, while Washington claims Seoul wasn't responsive to their requests. The U.S. is believed to be asking for $5 billion US, an over five-fold increase on what Seoul agreed to pay under the current deal, which expires at the end of the year. South Korea is firm that the figure must be fair and mutually acceptable, and within the framework of the SMA.
It appears the $5 billion demand is not a negotiating strategy, but a figure the U.S. actually wants. While it's important to see what the U.S. side brings to the table this time, we also have to see how much South Korea can shoulder. In the past, we've seen a maximum hike of about 25%, so there must be a range that we're willing to accept. I don't think the U.S. will use American troops on the peninsula as a bargaining tool, but it could bring up tariffs as a means of pressure.
Questions linger as to whether the allies will be able to meet the year-end deadline. The U.S. has been adamant a new deal must be inked before the end of the year, while South Korea says that'll depend on how the talks go. Seoul says another round of talks could possibly take place before the end of December. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.